Fulfilling a dream and entering the main dojo of Masutatsu Oyama, the founder of legendary Kyokushinkai Karate, is undoubtedly an incredible event for anyone who has set foot on the path of this martial art. I traveled to Tokyo with the team to record an interview with the founder's daughter, Kuristina Oyama, to learn more about her father and to tell the world about this legendary place of training and self-improvement. To get to the main dojo, you have to go to the Ikubukuro district, the beating heart of Tokyo, pulsating with energy and dynamism. It is here, among the skyscrapers and neon lights, that many Kyokushinkai practitioners find their dream destination. Here, in the main dojo, you can see photographs and personal items of Masutatsu Oyama, weapons, belts, and other exhibits that tell the story of the legendary master's life and martial arts career. Each of these items carries a piece of Kyokushinkai history, inspiring new generations of karateka on their path to self-improvement. I hope that the interview with Kuristina Oyama, Masutatsu Oyama's daughter, and her stories about her father, his character, philosophy and influence on the world of karate will help viewers better understand the greatness of this man and the depth of his teachings.
So this is my father's picture in his mid-30s. So this was like before he made Kyokushin. This was like Oyama Dojo. And this is also a picture maybe 3 months before he passed away. This was the very last public picture that he took for his calendar. It was a present that was given to us by our Hungarian dojo. They wrote a song on Kyokushin, which was very nice. This is a candle that was dedicated to Sosai from our Korean dojo. Excuse me, heavy. This is the wooden stick that's used for the grading. People hold on this and then they jump over. And Sosai had Kyokushinkai imprinted on it. Do you want to see it? Can you see it? It's like imprinted. Yeah. So he had them imprinted. But, anyway. So this is from our Indonesian dojo. And this is from Iraq. And this is one of the most recognized photo of Sosai, I think, all over the world. You know, and this was taken when he made the pictures for What is Karate. This is Sosai's belt, one of his last belts that he opened, and the older ones are in the archive now, so I brought this down from his office. Yeah, he wore it for, I think, the last Uchideshi training, and the one that Nick Pettis graduated, he wore this one. And this is my father. Here you go. Os. It was one of the last belts that he wore. Yeah. So it's very dear to us. Oh, thank you. So this shrine was actually made specifically for this dojo, for Hombu Dojo. And he actually had the craftsman for the Meiji shrine to make it for this dojo. Okay, so where was that? Yeah, so this is the traditional Japanese Shinto shrine. But anyway, it's made by the people who made the Imperial Palace Shrine as well as the Meiji Jingu Shrine. So it's something very special, I think, anyway. And she's resting with Sosai now in Gokokuji Temple. Do you want me to introduce these as well? Or do you want me to just, not so much? Okay. So this is the drum that has been around for ages. Yeah, we had to change this part, the hide, to make it new, but yeah. Anyway, so this one is from Aichi Prefecture. It was given to my father as a present. It's made from pearls. Yeah, okay, so this picture was taken during filming of Sosai's movie. It's called Chijo Saikyo no Karate movie. There was like 3 series, and this one was one of the cut that was in the movie. This one was the first world tournament poster, and the model is Sato Katsuaki, the first world champion. And he's now Sato Juku. Yeah. And I think this is Kishi-san. Kishi-sensei. He's in New York now, I think, and he doesn't do Kyokushin, but yes. So his picture is here. And this is the Dojo Kun that was written by my father.
What is the desk?
This chalkboard was used for seminars and specifically kumites. People will write like how many fights, how many bouts you finished on this. This hasn't changed actually. It's been here for like 30, 40 years. So it's older than me.
Oh, very many great people.
Kyokushin Karate, very famous here in Japan. It was written by a man named Tsunoda Jiro. He was a famous cartoonist here in the 70s and 80s. And yeah, that's the image of my father like in the mountains with his hair long. So, Wuko, World, Wuko, World, what is it? Kyokushin?
Wuko.
Like Shotokan, like he had, I don't know if people know this, but he had a lot of trouble with Sasagawa, President Sasagawa, and he wrote like a mission statement of what Kyokushin Karate is to Japan and what he thought of what karate should be, how karate shouldn't be about only the sport aspect. He felt that it should be based Budo, and then the competition came later. Our student of Hombu Dojo, so you see my son's name right there, Oyama. And there's Sosai. And then there's my mom. Oh, and there's me. I was born youngest daughter to Sosai Masayama, and I'm currently the custodian for Aikyo Kyokushinkai Karate. I also run the business for Masutatsu Oyama Enterprise, which was a company that was founded by my parents. Yeah. Okay. So my father passed away when I was actually 22. Yes, I do remember my father very clearly, like yesterday. We all miss him. And yeah. He actually called me the evening that he passed away. He actually called me in New York. And I was in school, so I got his answering machine message, and then I called the hospital, and he was already passed away. So that was kind of a shock. And I quickly tried to get my ticket back to Japan, you know, and many other things followed. But the funny thing is, it's already been like 20 years, almost 17, 18 years. And there's only good things that you remember about Sosai. While he was alive, you know, of course, I had my own issues with him, but as time goes on and he's not here anymore physically with us, I still remember all the good and great things about him. He was, of course, very loving. He had a very deep sense of love, not just to the family, but I think to everyone. But he was especially respectful to my mother, Chiako Oyama, because he always celebrated her birthday. He always made sure that they celebrated their wedding anniversary. He always made sure that he went out to movies with her once a month, which is a lot for, I think, you know, you go to a movie 12 times a year. So he was very strict with time. He always came home at 6:30 from Hombu to home at 6:30, and we had dinner at 7, and that never changed. He always had everything done on time. So if I'm like 1 minute late, he would be yelling at me, you know. But he was very, very gentle and nice, very, very kind, very deep-hearted. Yeah, and I think that reflected also on the way how he treated the uchideshis and his students, and especially people who came from abroad. He was extremely compassionate to people who came from overseas, you know, leaving their family back to train Kyokushin. Yeah. He did his calligraphy at 4 p.m., like 3 times a week. Every I think Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays he did his calligraphy. So after he finishes his training, afternoon training, he would do his calligraphy. That never changed because he would always be doing his calligraphy. He used to play flute. Not so much when I was growing up, but a lot when my sisters were growing up and before he built Kyokushinkai, like during Oyama Dojo time. He used to play flute, and he used to have a little dog called Lulu, if anyone's interested.
Dogs, cat.
Yes, he had a little dog. Yes, he had a small dog called Lulu. He was I think it was a he. It was a he. He had the little dog Lulu when they lived in Itabashi, which is like the next station to Ikebukuro. That's where they had their little house before building Hombu. And there is a picture of him and Lulu together in their little backyard. That's where he used to also do his training, and people would come and, you know, kids around the neighborhood would come and watch him train, and that's how he started the Oyama Dojo. Yes. So he had a cat too. He had a small kitten at the Oyama Dojo too. Yeah, but I don't know the name. I think it was like Mi-chan or something. Funny when I say this, but he believed very much, I think, women power. He believed in education, and he really tried his best to supply every means of education that he can get for me and my sisters. Yeah, so we had really good education, I think. You know, he provided us really well when it came to schools and extracurricular activities, and anywhere we wanted to travel, he made sure we were able to travel and experience the culture. Yeah, he was very big on education. He was very big on women being very independent, which I think a lot of people find it surprising because he's so old-fashioned in many ways, but he really believed that being educated, especially for women, was the way to having your own voice heard in the world. He read like maybe 6 or 7 books a week. He read a lot of books, and his bookshelf it was always books, and he got a lot of books from different publishers, and he would read them all. He was very, very much a strong reader. Yeah. So how it treated your mother? He treated my mom very well, as I said earlier. He knows that she was the reason why he made Kyokushin so big, because she was the support for, she was the support for, Kyokushin, I think. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for her, then I don't think he would have he wouldn't be the same man he became, I think. Yeah. He once became a Santa Claus for my school Christmas party. He did Santa Claus for Christmas party. Yeah, because I went to Catholic school when I was in elementary school. So yeah, so it wasn't very normal to celebrate Christmas in Japan back, when I was younger, but when I was a child. But he came to my school and he became the Santa Claus along with the other fathers. So that was very interesting. That was fun. A lot of the children were scared of him, but he loves children. So yeah, because he was so humble, you watch a man who is revered like a god, but he was so normal at home and very normal to his students. Yeah, and it's something we all felt, like even my sisters and I, we talk about it sometimes, but he really loved his students. He really, really loved people who not just dedicated themselves to, but people who respected and loved his karate. That was very, very important to him, and I think it really touched him, and that's what motivated him to be a better person every day. I really think so. Yeah. He had there was a man named Maeda. He used to film all of the tournaments and all of Sosai's public speech. He came and videotaped my birthday, my mother's birthday, my graduation, my sister's graduation. I think he was very close to him, and but even then I think he had a hard time revealing everything. What he felt was the spirit of his karate, and he wanted to have a writer, Sensei Yoshikawa Eiji, who wrote the Miyamoto Musashi book, yeah? And he was so influenced by the sensei's writing. He wanted to have Sensei Yoshikawa write his dojo-kun. So what he did was he went to his house every day, and many people go there to, try and get his interview, or aspiring, writers would try and go and meet him. So he wasn't allowed through the gate, because no one knew Sosai. No one, really, he didn't have an appointment. So every day he waited outside the compound of Yoshikawa Sensei's house to see if he would come out. And one day he noticed that in the back, the housekeeper would break the log to make fireplace. So he offered to help her. He said, I can help you, cut the log. And, she was doing it on her own. And now muscular man comes and he just does everything that needs to be done for 1 year, like in a matter of couple hours. So she was really happy, but she actually spoke to Yoshikawa sensei to meet with Sosai, and that's how he got the appointment and had the dojo-kun written by him. My father originally had a dojo in a ballet studio in the evening for maybe like 3 years before. So it's like 1960 he rented a ballet studio, and that ballet studio my eldest sister used to go and train ballet. And from there he moved here in 1964. So I guess everyone, including Kurosawa, what's his name? Kenji? Kurosawa, Kento? But anyway, him and everyone, John Blooming, Steve Arneal, Howard Collins, Brian Fitkin, everyone, Dolph Lundgren, Mitsui, Akiyoshi, Midori Kenji came here. All the grading was done here, like 100-man kumite. So everyone's sweat is in the floor. Do you know this shrine? He had this made by the people who make the Imperial Palace shrine. So it has like the Japanese traditional spirit, in the same, So he was very meticulous with detail-oriented Sosai. He was buried, he's in Gokokuji Temple, which is like 2 stations away from Hambu. And that's a Buddhist temple where a lot of famous people rest as well. Like the writer for Sosai's comic book, he also rests there, Kajiwara Ikki. The Dalai Lama visits there too. So it's a great temple. There was about 6,000 people for the funeral, for the organization funeral, and even for here, I think there was a few thousand people that visited. It was a trying moment for all of us, I think, because we didn't want him to go. We all wanted him to stay. It was organized by Soeno, Kancho Soeno from Shidokan. He originally was, Kyokushin branch chief, and then he became independent. But he actually suggested to my mother we should have a place where people can visit Sosai. That's not about organization, that's not about religion. And Shinto religion, well, even Buddhist, it's quite open now, but Shinto religion generally is open to any religion, So anyway, because that's where he trained, my mother decided to make a memorial tomb in Mount Mitsumine, so people can visit and say hello, as well as Gokokuji. So on the Mount Mitsumine, there's 3 monuments. One is Sosai, Masutatsu Oyama's monument, and the one next to it, he's actually a politician that helped the Saitama prefecture, and he helped make the Mitsumine shrine. And the third one, the far left of where there's like a human figure, he is the god that helped build the shrine, the Mitsumine shrine, the very first person to build it and bring the gods for the blessing. The one in the middle, the politician's name was Chishima, I think Chishima Takeo. And then the far left is Yamato Takeru no Mikoto. Yamato Takeru Mikoto, which is like, Yamato is Japan, old Japan. Takeru is like master. Takeru, like superior with what they do, master. Mikoto is like serving the gods. Yamato Takeru no Mikoto. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fight, but it all comes down to one founder. Like everyone fight, but it all goes back to Sosai. So I think that's the answer. We all should respect Sosai. Forget that Sosai took years and years and years and a lot of like hard work and a lot of bigotry and prejudice. He was really, he had a hard time, I think, as far as even I can tell. And I was born very much after Sosai was successful. But when I listen to my sisters and my mother's story or my aunt's story, he had a really hard time. And I think people only see the fame, not the hard work of Sosai. He lived in the mountains and, people didn't listen to him and they all thought he was crazy when he wanted to publish a book in English, and they all thought, he was a Budo when he decided to do full contact, and, he was ostracized. Everyone told him he was a brute, not a Budo, and it took him a long time to get to where he is. So, yeah, I think it's very hard to fight each other if we remember that. It's still ongoing. It's still going on. I think I'm right. They think they're right. So, we're fighting. But I think it all comes down to what you do with the rights. I feel that the organization and the family, it works together. So if the organization benefits, the family benefits, and whatever the family benefits, I think the organization benefits. I don't think it's one way or the other. But I think, the end result has to be betterment of what it was yesterday. I think Sosai was all about giving back to the society. So if you train Kyokushin, if you run a dojo Kyokushin, and if it's not helping people, then you're not doing something right.